regardless of who wins map 2 on Fracture.
All right, DRX versus T1 continues on. T1 with a 1-0 map lead. Let's not forget, DRX was the favorite of this region. They're here in the losers finals, and right now they're down. They need to recover here on Fracture, or we may have the craziest upset here in VCT Pacific.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys could catch it in the mic, but DRX seems to have brought like an entire cheer squad on their side. They've got drums and everything ready to go. They are trying to rally behind their players. Now, the Des talked about how this composition specifically was used at lock-in to beat Loud, but outside of that, in the Chamber meta as well, the only difference was Buzz was playing Chamber over Killjoy, and they were 3-0 at VCT Champions on Fracture, and a lot of that was behind RB's Neon, and his movement seems to still be in tip-top condition.
DRX spills on to A, and it'll be up to T1 right now to figure out if and how they can retake this.
Yeah, now it doesn't look like DRX wants to go for post-plant positions. They just want to push through, but RB not going to survive. Now Buzz was tasked with keeping that part of the map alive. Mako going to have to use his molly just to buy time, but it might already be too late.
Yeah, we've got Stacks pulled back over here. Munchkin continuing to advance. Carpe gets Zest.
Yeah, Zest was a little bit shaky. Carpe continued to buy time, but he cannot find the target through the box. The defuse is still sticking, and Mako just wants to stop, but he cannot.
T1 continuing that momentum on after winning map 1 when it could not have been closer. Pistol round looking oh so strong here for T1. And you know, we have series in Valorant that kind of look like this, where one team starts out strong and then the other team returns with an epic comeback, winning that first map, and then they clean sweep through map 2. Not saying that's going to happen here, but man, they are looking on point. And watching Mako miss those spray shots over and over.
I mean, yeah, DRX just a little bit shaky, and I think a lot of that was because that they didn't get the post-plant scenario they wanted, right? They made their decision of let's push through the defender spawn, and T1 was actually just ready for it to receive them in open arms. RB not able to survive that trade. And now DRX going to be reserved with pistols here, while we do see 2 Bulldogs and 3 Spectres. So T1 absolutely looking to just carry these guns over into the rifle rounds in round 3.
They're going to creep up through the back of B. They're going to hear that sound of the orb getting hit. Shot fired, but RB can't really be picked off in that moment.
Yeah, now Ban, though, immediately repositions, and he sees that there's just one Jiggle Peek he's not going to get too crazy. Saya just barely hiding from the turret as well. T1 is playing as safe as possible. They're not taking risks. Now that they've shifted weight a bit, Ban will continue to hold tower. He's banking on not being isolated because Munchkin is trying to watch the entry coming in from Arcade.
All right, Ban getting that first pick on RB. And you can see kind of a funny interaction over here. T1 does thin those numbers out, just Stacks left over. And eventually he's cleaned up as well. There was a moment we saw the Spectre, the 3 different shots on 3 different targets. Yeah. Eventually one of them goes down.
Well, I mean, hey, sometimes that's what you got to do with the Spectre, right? You can't just stick to one target for too long. Obviously, the spray not going to be that advantageous for that duration of time. So Munchkin just doing whatever damage he can. Now, getting the kill onto RB, I mean, part of it's that he was tagged earlier, because otherwise RB's movement, rarely does he get caught. But Ban carefully just making sure that he gets a couple extra spray hits onto him. Now 4 weapons carried over for T1. Looks like a B site focus. Now A site is just going to be held. They're just going to buy time with the Killjoy utility.
DRX hungry for that win. They're going to be proceeding with caution, looking for peeks and pokes.
All right, because this was the bonus round for T1, DRX, they send the relay bolt in the flashes early to prevent any sort of hard aggression coming out of B. Now, with this, DRX has successfully kind of contained T1, right? T1 doesn't have much information. Meanwhile, DRX has already taken a main control. Sure, Killjoy utility is still alive on A, but I think, you know, DRX isn't going to mind that too much. They will be able to brute force through it. The big question becomes, do you push through spawn again, or do you just all hang back in main? You got to pick and choose your post-plant positioning right now.
All right, they're going to be coming into A right now. They're going to cut it off. There's a little bit of Killjoy utility, but certainly not enough to scare away DRX. The spike is going to be planted just over onto the edge of the A site, and T1's going to be ready to try to come in with that retake. Can we get those sheriff shots, those moments where you can just, oh hold on.
Oh,
And
Munchkin reads this, and he picks up a weapon as well. Now that gets rid of the crossfire. DRX, RB has to buy so much time alongside Stacks just so they can rely on that Molly post-plant angle coming in from Mako.
All right, Zest takes out 2.
But the Molly already sent out. Zest just trying to survive, just making sure he can try to peek out.
They haven't started that defuse just yet. Saya gets 2. Oh my God.
Yeah, and still just enough time. They started about a second early enough. And T1, I mean, again, T1 understands the homework. They know that in this composition, DRX loves their post-plant lineups from Mako. So they say pressure A main. Munchkin was tasked with holding dish, even wins this kill. This is where things all break down.
Yeah, it was all about that sheriff shot there. Then suddenly it's everybody in B Hall just trying to figure out, A Hall just trying to figure out how they could push through and actually do this.
Saya was kind of surprised he got caught by that Molly. He wasn't quite expecting to die to that. Yeah, that's kind of like the whoa in Korea. But so here's the crazy thing is that even though Zest won the first 2 duels in A main, DRX was pressured enough where Mako had to send the Molly because it takes so much time for that to land. Now DRX on their back foot once again, just trying to brute force their way through.
And brute force they do. Mako gets a double kill. And we're seeing, a well-equipped T1 sort of get vastly out-positioned. They're going to have a pretty careful attempt to navigate their way through here if they're going to come out on top. You can see most of the DRX players are basically looming in Hall to kind of interrupt the diffuse.
Yeah, I mean, the post-plant setup is still the same. Oftentimes, they'll try to have someone on dish, but other than that, it's always going to be RB on site. And Zester Stacks holding that crossfire with him. Meanwhile, one of them protects Mako for the post-plant lineup. Ooh,
That's
RB.
going to be it. All right, much needed there for DRX. As T1 was beginning to run away with the show here. And so after that pretty insane round 3, DRX does manage to come out and start to stabilize.
Yeah, I mean, just really picking up this tempo here. Mako with a quick double kill. And this is one of the reasons DRX's fracture was so praised was because of RB's Neon. They can actually really play with the tempo quite a bit compared to some of the other maps and the way DRX used to traditionally play. I would say overall they've gotten better at really picking up the tempo for some rushes here and there, but this map in particular. Okay, so just a save from T1.
Yeah. Saya just with a Marshall. Perhaps a pick or two can be had here. And it's going to be DRX basically waiting. Occasionally in these budget rounds, you'll see somebody just try to, or all the agents rush out on one side and try to surprise him. Ban getting that first kill, that's big. If he could start to stack these up.
Yeah, I mean, he's also just keeping RB busy enough for a long enough time.
Saya gets one.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A-site is already stacked from T1. 3 members here. I don't know if DRX quite realizes that. I think DRX thinking maybe because this was a save round from T1, that the stack would be wherever they get first contact, but that's just not the case. Ban buys enough time. Now, unfortunately for Ban, he could not recover the weapon because he got the kill at long range, but they buy enough time now because of the further contact. The shift will happen from T1 over to the other side. Curious to see, Munchkin has his lockdown. Mako does have Orbital Strike, but I wonder if they commit that for the retake this round.
That is the big question. With Ban leaving this, they can't quite get that easy pick like they would like. They use Neom to basically isolate visually the B site so they can set it up for themselves, but this also allows T1 to start to tiptoe in.
And Ban, so good. They know that if he sticks the plan, he's going to get tagged at least once by the Aftershock. Ban still gets the headshot no matter what. Just looking for the right click. He wants to find his target, going in and out, and Ban gets another onto Buzz.
It's just going to be RB up in tower. And that's going to be it. This spike's getting defused, and T1 continuing to maintain their lead.
But you know what? Ban's comfort level on a stage at this scale was the last remaining question for T1, and I think those were also greatly exaggerated as he gets a triple kill with the Blade Storm, really opening the way for T1 to get their 4th round win on the board.
When we saw T1 walk on stage here, everybody over at the analyst desk was talking about how confident they looked, how comfortable they were, and truly as good as you can get at any game. There is a whole other beast that you have to tackle, which is being able to play in front of a huge stage, in front of all these fans watching, knowing how many people online are watching as well. And the reality is that T1, everything has just clicked.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I even talked about it. I posted about it right after map 1 where I said, I'll admit it, you know, I thought T1's experience in other games, I mean, how much can that really carry over in a best of 5 like this? And they are as calm as ever. Munchkin now on site, and he's good for one. Saya gets another trade, and another with the showstopper.
This round is over almost before it even started. Zest and Mako remain, and before I could finish that sentence, they disappear.
And this was just a read from T1. I mean, look at the setup they had. I mean, Ban with the operator, they just trust him to hold A main with A halls. And they are ready for this fight in B. Saya was watching over the fast lane. The fast lane somewhat nullified because of that. And listen to their comms. They're just calling out what info they have, what needs to be done next. And then they say, GG, go next, go to the next round. We already have that round in the bag.
This time, Ban, ready over here. Just an A entry. A lot of Killjoy util stacked up over at B. A very cautious approaching DRX here. They're trying to look for a pick.
They gotta expect that something is a little off here, though.
Ban with the whiff, not quite fast enough.
Yeah,
now they know where the operator is. They can move right out of this position.
Exactly. Huge info gain from DRX. However, curious to see T1. Okay, they're not going to rotate. They say no need to over-rotate. We do not have information on whether DRX has left A or not, so they keep as safe a default position as possible, only except for Ban continue to peek out, and this allows, look at the map, Zeta starting to rotate as well.
All right, Saya immediately shut down by Zest. Stax continues it on with Munchkin being picked off here. Not an easy position now for T1. It almost seems like they're better when they're packed up against the wall.
Ban, there's got to be a consideration to save this op here from T1. Yeah, at least for Ban. I mean, yeah, the others can go for a try, but especially now that there's only 2 members, you see Ban already leaving. I mean, that's a big investment. Yes, you could still buy it next round, but no reason to let that go to waste. You already have a hefty lead. Lockdown and Orbital Strike was traded in this round. You just let DRX have this one. It does hurt because it's not a full buy round from DRX, but you got to take your losses somewhere.
Yeah, a great entry over here for DRX. I think a lot of that did come down to Ban not getting that first pick and them realizing how squishy and tempting, frankly, the B site could be. And so this is going to be the second round win. Much needed one here for DRX, as we will now move on into round 8. T1 still substantially in the lead and keeping that operator for the future round.
Now, we've seen this in the past when Neon was continuing to run rampant here on Fracture, and even with the operator, if there was ever an agent to really overcome that with individual mechanics, it was going to be the Neon, right? If you're not locked into just one dash like Jet, you can continuously draw out the aim of the operator and just close the distance and create that fight. So sometimes the defenders, they start kind of catching themselves in their own corner because they're like, well, we have to protect this operator because they have a Neon, but at the same time, the whole point of the operator is so that we can gain some space and then stack on the other side. Curious to see what the decision continues to be from DRX. They are going to spot.
Ban makes up for the mistakes in the last round, getting that first kill. RB is gone now. That changes a lot of the ways that the attacking team can really enter onto any of these sites.
Well, if Buzz can find Munchkin. But if he does not check this corner, oh no. He's been spotted and he's not sure where to look. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Saya cleans up the main force of DRX. And now it's all down to Zest.
Oh my God. See, observing here, we can't even keep up with the kills here from T1. T1 is so deftly moving around the map, getting these picks. Especially in that last round, it was like DRX couldn't get anywhere. Anywhere they looked, anywhere they peeked, they were shut down. What an intimidating loss, and now the 6th win here for T1.
T1 is starting to run away with this. The timeout comes, but you know, you already got to wonder, is it maybe a little too late? I mean, sure, this is T1's pick, but you lost your own pick on Ascent. You got to at least put up a fight here on Fracture. And yeah, we're far from done. It's only, halfway through the first half, but DRX not able to find the answers they want. I am curious in that previous round, I guess maybe the Prowler just ended. I thought maybe Ban shot it and we just didn't catch audio or vision of that. But maybe it just ended right before. Maybe he took it out with the classic. Either way, DRX looked like they weren't expecting that operator there in halls, and RB trying to creep up, gets caught unawares.
Let's remind ourselves, this is the biggest stage the DRX has played on in their home turf here in Seoul. So many fans have been following them for years out here in Korea. But right now, they're down 0-1 and down in score on map 2. T1, a legendary fixture of esports, not just in Korea, but globally, but it was never quite in the limelight. Not the same limelight that DRX is in, and that usurping is continuing to come on.
Yeah, I mean, if T1 can, you know, kind of re-enter the Korean or Valorant scene here in the first season, maybe even take down DRX. I mean, what a way to make a statement. We'll see if it continues. Now Fastlane used to just take control of door here. RB's gonna sneak in, he opens up the site, good for 2 kills.
Well, a valuable pause there as they really started what they needed. Saya, though, takes RB out, a 2 versus 4, T1 in dire straits. Does Ban actually commit operator in hand?
Surely not. I mean, maybe if you can pick up a different gun, you know that a couple people dropped theirs here over by Sands. The thing is with the round advantage, with the creds they have, and with Ban wanting to get, you know, he wouldn't mind getting a couple extra ult points. Yeah, I think you absolutely pick up a rifle and try it. No reason to risk it with the operator. Just let that drop. DRX probably not going to pick it up anyway.
Now they have to suspect that Zess is back here. Buzz going to be able to flank.
I mean, T1, it looks like maybe they're just going to look to cover their backs and try to pinch them in for these exit frags. Ban's looking for one. He gets one. He hears another coming through.
Yep, gets
he
two.
Gets two. He's on the hunt for another. Mako will shut him down.
Impressive. Munchkin dies out there to the spike. The third win here for DRX. But T1, it's so scary when you see these teams that are ahead and the team that's behind is beginning to scoop up a win here or there. But they have these tactical setups that really diminish those returns from those wins.
Yeah. Continue to do that damage. Mako, the calmest of the bunch here on DRX. I love that you brought up the idea about the crowd, right? DRX, they played at bigger stages internationally, but not on their home turf. But here's the thing. A lot of people wondered, well, is it always because they're, you know, kind of the outsiders when they go to these international events? Maybe they'll work better off of their own fans. But now they're in a Korean fight against T1, and the pressure's starting to build up, more so than the support. Now, Rolling Thunder being used. RB just slides right through and is met with a shorty.
Into the hands of Ban he goes, but A-Site's where they want to be. A-Site completely naked. DRX should be able to set up over here. Saya ready, but smoked out. Paint shells tossed in. Oh, and they actually don't plant. And wait, whoa.
Well, yeah,
the kill on the Buzz.
Yeah, the paint shell was right on the typical plant location that DRX has been favoring because of the post plant. And then the orbital strike as well. I mean, T1 has bought all the time to flood onto the site. It's an outright duel. Now 1v2 stacks so low.
21 HP, and he's gone. Carpe getting the kill. It's 7-3.
I don't know if anyone expected this momentum to continue for T1, let alone for them to gain it in the first place. But whatever happened in the middle of Ascent on that map 1, whatever happened as they entered the second half, they're trying to continue it through.
They couldn't be more activated. We didn't even get the spike planted back there.
No.
Not even the credits from that loss.
Yeah, and the thing is I mean, this is T1 just correctly understanding what the favored lineups are from DRX. They know they like that corner plant, thanks to the post-plant lineups that Mako can have. And they just go for it. You know, T1, they just stop them right in their tracks. Going back to tried and true, quick entry into Sands. DRX, they just want to get, you know, 1-2 more rounds. They want to make it a 5-7 half. At that point, it's anybody's game.
All right. Well, A is going to be theirs for the taking. We've got a big push coming in here from the bottom.
Yeah, DRX has to win this. They have to push out. They cannot sit here and get trapped in Hall. Oh, but the Rolling Thunder is going to grant them no mercy.
God. The executes are too good here for T1. They're racing in, and now, with the showstopper in hand and a contested back, he's gonna fire in, does not get the kill. Well, doesn't get the kill with that ulti, but it doesn't matter. That's gonna be an 8th round win. Kind of remarkable that the showstopper didn't get him when they were stuck that far back.
Yeah, RB just slides right under it, it looked like, right onto the stairs. That gives him a little bit of an elevation drop as well, but man, T1, they know that, okay, well, DRX, they need to get out of A Hall, right? That's their post plant lineup. So let's just use the Rolling Thunder early.
Yeah.
Don't wait until we get close to the site. Just get whatever advantages we can. We already have Dish. We already have Defender spawn. T1 is always ready for these retakes. DRX, I mean, look at the way they're playing. They are not gaining good post plant positions. They're not able to push in and expand their territory. They're just barely getting these plants in.
Ban ready in the final round here in the first half. Operator, Bladestorm out. DRX trying to inch in towards B.
Now, they're going to try to push out off of this lockdown. They know this lockdown is coming. Does DRX expect this push out, though? The stun's coming in. Relay bolt just to buy time. And RB, he actually gets taken out by Carpe.
Munchkin gets a drop on the Buzz.
They've already pushed out from behind as well.
Spike down, B.
The spike's down. The lockdown has done no good.
They got to come pick it up. Can they get it? Whiffs it.
All right, Bant, but he's bought time, right? The rest of his team now ready to pinch from Canteen. Oh, Saya player grieves a little bit after losing audio.
There.
All right, now Ban has gone all the way underneath. It is coming around from the opposite side of Fracture. Zeta full HP.
And Ban has that operator, though, so this is going to be tough. Ban's just got to hold stacks. He cannot get too curious about this one. Oh, okay. Well, Zest actually cleans that up for them. So they don't know where Stacks was. They're not quite sure if they're both tower. Now, Zeta could have a bit of an idea.
He's going to get it to half.
Oh, is he got no? Oh, he does get hit by it. He thought he could just sneak right in the corner, but it will even out to a 4-8 half.
Yeah, great round there. T1 still substantially ahead, though. And I got to say, I mean, T1... We talked about this previously, but it really is like every week they are getting 100% better than the week before. Like they are doubling in their ability, they're confident, their plays are very fluid. Even when strategically or tactically what they had planned doesn't work out, you can still see the beauty and the brilliance of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say it outright. I mean, obviously, maybe it's an easy thing to say just because T1's leading in the first half, but at least in the first half, T1, they just had better positioning from the defender side, right? They understood that DRX, I mean, they're just going to rely on these post plants. So as long as we don't give up Dish and defender spawn, if we always just pressure A Hall, DRX will have to rush the molly, they'll have to rush the lineup, and they will not be able to play with the time as much as they are used to. DRX, they, you know, in the pistol, they try to push into defender spawn. That gets shut down, and afterwards, they weren't even given the chance to ever expand their post plant positioning after getting the spike plant down.
DRX needs this so badly. You know, statistically, when you have best of fives, it's extremely rare that you're down 0-2, and then you come back with 3 wins.
I mean, that's the DRX story, right?
Yeah.
They've been down 0-2 so many times internationally. They've actually gone to map 5 so many times by making this 2-map comeback. And then they falter, they break under the pressure in map 5. And I was actually kind of half joking about this before the broadcast started with some of the desk members about, you know, what if T1 wins by going to map 5? I mean, would that ever haunt DRX in thinking that they have never won a map 5, right?
Yes.
They've won 3-0s, they've won 3-1, but they have never won a map 5.
And rarely do teams do it. It's just very, very hard if anybody can overcome you 2 maps in a row, that somehow you can get the upper hand in a full sweep reversal. So, you know, this Fracture map right now is so important long-term here for DRX. They need this best of 5 to become a back and forth, and not something where they have to have some kind of Hail Mary 3-mapper in the very end. Now, pistol rounds, T1's looked extremely strong. How is it going to fare right now when, right now, T1 has double the points here that DRX does?
Yeah, I mean, DRX definitely needs this one for the start. They're going to go with a fast push out of B main, and as soon as they hear all the noise coming in from Arcade, DRX chooses to flood the site.
Yeah, DRX going to come in here and try to hold their ground. No retakes in their future here. Stacks gets 1.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, Buzz was hiding for just long enough to draw out fire for his teammates. Munchkin is so low, and DRX will close it out, finally getting a pistol win on the board. Now 1 pistol for DRX, 3 pistol wins so far for T1 in this best of 5.
Beautifully done there by DRX. A chaotic first round here. T1 shut down on entry over at B.
And I like DRX just immediately flooding right back in. into the site, right? They say, okay, we pushed out of tree, there's no movement here, there's a lot going on in arcade. Just come back, let's smoke behind us on B main, and then let's make sure that we are ready for these trades in the site. Now just 3 Bulldogs, no buys on the pistols, just 2 ghosts for Zest and Stacks. Curious to see if there's some potential early operator play in mind here from DRX.
We got to see if these Sheriff shots can connect. Zest going to back up behind the wall here, but Munchkin's still eager. Ooh. Zest does win that very important duel.
Yeah, the crazy thing is Zest kind of assumed that the fault line would have hit. Munchkin was not stunned, but Zest still able to calmly get that headshot. And now T1, I mean, they're on the eco. They were just kind of fishing for an early kill. Not going to happen, so finally the spike gets picked up, and most likely they'll run into RB, but Saya, he's got that Marshall.
Yeah, shot whiffed over there. These peaks right now for T1, not looking great so far. They do have Band moving up just past Dish.
Yeah, but DRX kind of reads this, right? I mean, this is what T1 does every time. With the double duelist, I mean, this is your go-to, is pinch A from both sides. Get the entry in from Dish. And Band's just buying time.
All right, Band's gonna come down now. Saya getting Mako immediately. Gun was not in hand.
Oh no, and just the ghost for Zest. He was not able to continue to pick up a weapon from his teammates.
This may come down to Buzz here.
Saya trying to just be a nuisance as much as possible. Now Buzz has shut down 1 member so far, but he's gonna play it safe. Because weapon picked up for Carpe, he's got that Bulldog in hand. Buzz is gonna wait for his teammates.
Right, Stacks is coming now, Ghost in hand.
I mean, Stacks just has to act as bait. Okay, he's gonna get the first pick from behind.
This is really hard here for Saya, and it's not gonna be possible. That spike's getting diffused. This is gonna be the 6th round win here. DRX steadily beginning to catch up. But I'll tell you what, that was a very, very close round too.
Yeah, I mean, that could have ended up being very dangerous here. But able to continue with the 3 Bulldogs here for DRX. So, listen, I mean, they didn't have 2 members by. Nothing lost too much. I mean, sure, you lost the Ghost, but you're not really relying on those in the future rounds. Okay, they're just going to buy up to rifles. So, yeah, I was going to say it doesn't quite add up to an operator, but continuing with half armor, an extra Vandal, an extra Bulldog, 5 rifles on both sides, and DRX looking to push out once again with the Neon on B.
All right, quad stack down here in the south. We've got DRX trying to do a small push in here. Saya gets 1.
Oh, and he finds that 1 opening in between all the stuns. It's good for 1, but T1 is very stuck. They cannot take the ropes to get out either. DRX just backing up. Now here's the big thing. Munchkin already in through arcade. Buzz suspects it, so he's gonna launch the Nanoswarm so he can regain control of tower. That was such good timing from Buzz.
Yeah, very good instinct over there. But A is pretty vulnerable right now. We've got Mako, who could peer into it, but you got to imagine in a double duel, certainly T1 should be able to come out on top.
Oh my gosh, Mako's just going to try to flood the site. He's trying to get the first pick, but he cannot get it. Saya just flies right by, and Zeta will clean that up. Oof. They still have a lot of time. T1 has a lot of time, so Munchkin's continue to play on B side. He's going to actually try to get the pinch from defender spawn. The alarm bot does spot Munchkin on the other side on the minimap.
All right, Zest is ducked down just around this corner. 35 seconds left. And they're not clear on where the spike is, so they're going to rush in and just go ahead and set this up now. Zest sees the boom bot.
Zest is trying to hide under it, but Saya gets the first peek.
Don't know if it was heaven or hell where that boom bot came from. And now it's just Buzz left over.
Oh, and even with the information that Munchkin was here, I mean, he could be anywhere. He could be Sands. He could be up on ropes, below on Sands. Could be around the corner. Buzz has so much to check for. And while with the half armors, they could buy again.
Wow.
This is rough.
Wow. And you can see with T1 the patience. Capitalizing on the ambiguity of the sounds that were made over there onto the site. And just sort of letting that that confusion play to their benefit here.
And this started so well for DRX. They had such a good pinch. You know, they really slowed down the initial attack. They kind of kept T1 in a pinch, so to speak, no pun intended. And just because Munchkin was still roaming about from arcade into sewers, DRX, they just could not kind of make up their mind on how they wanted to continue to set up with 3 members remaining. Now a quick push from T1. The tempo change is good.
All right, a very flash Buzz over here. Still camping it out at B. Gets the first jump onto Ban. They were not able to figure out where he was. Buzz continuing to rotate around. Now Munchkin, here and back, is going to peer up into tower.
Yeah, but see what T1's continue to do is that they'll go for the initial hit. They have double duelists. If one of them gets caught out, if they cannot commit to the execute, they don't send in the second line of attack. They leave Munchkin for the lurk, and then they start to rotate. Now DRX, they have the correct read. They have all 5 remaining members, so they're able to still go for this 3-2 split. But it all comes down to the timing from Munchkin, quite frankly.
All right, Munchkin very intentionally and deliberately causes that sound. He gets Mako.
And this is going to allow T1's main force to try to go into A. However, unbeknownst to them, DRX is not shaken up. They are keeping their positions over on A. RB, he's just trying to buy time away from the showstopper.
Stax is so low on HP.
But RB's cover is good from Heaven.
Down A.
They're both so low, and yet they're surviving. Zest continues to confirm the location here of Carpe. Carpe gets the spike, but where can he go? Only 15 seconds left.
Yeah, there's not much he can really do right now.
10 seconds
Two
left.
very low HP players on that side. Yeah, not enough. Not enough. And here in the stadium we're in, I can hear these massive drums banging.
Yeah, from
From
DRX's
DRX
side,
on their side, all the way on the opposite side of the stadium.
Although, I'm starting to wonder if it's a drum or is it just all of their thunder sticks? Because maybe if you just clap them all in unison, that is going to allow
That could be. No, I think it's actually a drum, though.
I think it does sound like it. I mean, we can hear the thunder sticks from T1's side. They're closer to us, so whenever T1 gets
Or
around
could be
victory.
giant thunder sticks on a giant drum. We could compromise here.
Held by giant AR agents. That's
All right, T1, 9-7 here. DRX fighting as best they can to try to recover. This time it's going to be a triple push from Dish.
Oh, and look at DRX. They've studied the tape from T1.
Yeah.
They know that they like to go for these splits. Ban sometimes just kind of let off the leash. Go cause chaos. We'll work off of the information you get. Now, because he wasn't spotted yet, T1 is already starting to rotate over to B, but I think they're trying to make the read that, okay, well, if there's one person close and I haven't gotten spotted by the Killjoy utility yet, do we think it's just focused on tower? T1 trying to make these assumptions here.
Saya's creeping up. Mako, oh, got a great peek. Molly comes out.
Saya tries to go for the peek, but he's way too weak already.
And that's going to be it. Yeah, that's the 8th win here for DRX. It's neck and neck.
DRX, they're trying to compete. They're trying to tie up the overall match score 1-1. Try to take each other's map picks. Now the ults lined up for Team 1 as we saw on the scoreboard. Curious to know if we'll have a potential timeout here as Team 1 starting to let the momentum slip away just a bit. So far, only one timeout used by DRX after round 8 to try to regain a couple rounds. No, T1 Coach Autumn says, no, we just continue on. You guys have the ults. You guys can figure it out on your own. Blade Storm in hand for Ban.
Ban coming up now. Let's not forget, Mako's been very on point up here.
Yeah.
A lot of moments it looks like T1 could probably crack this open, but it doesn't quite happen.
Oh, but look at this. DRX has already emptied the site, right? They're all just waiting in defender spawn. Yeah, Mako says, as long as I don't give up this position, because guess what? They had already cleared A hall. And now the lockdown coming in, and DRX's forces are here to pinch them, make sure that spike does not get play. Oh, Zayna! Good for 2 kills,
Spike
though.
down B.
Mako's been so on point back here.
You should run.
Counter Killjoy ulti here set up. Buzz with a good lurk gets that second kill. It's 9-9. The comeback is real. We're all tied up.
It's happening. It's happening, and this is as close as we could really hope for between these two teams. I know a lot of people, including myself, somewhat concerned. What if DRX just kind of turns on the switch again and makes it a 3-0? But T1's been putting up, if anything, they've been leading the fight, and now it's DRX fighting to stay in this best of 5. But this was just a textbook round of Valorant, right? They read that the Rolling Thunder is available from T1. They leave the site empty. They push out of A-halls fast.
Now, they're not out of the woods yet. Important round here. decent opportunities on both sides can be created. Looks like B is going to be where they're going to at least try to inch up here with the spike, but frankly, it's a very even split all around. There's a push coming here. Munchkin has done a decent job with engaging with this, but ultimately nobody's killed off on either side.
Just trying to hold that space. But DRX, they push them out and they're focused on the other side. They know that T1 likes to push and pull from both sides, especially utilizing that double duelist. Now, Stacks and RB, they are kind of caught inside the site. Paint shells and nanoswarm, everything being thrown to just push Stacks out of there.
Yeah, Stacks still sitting pretty comfortably over here. This is going to be a very tough infiltration here for T1.
Whoa, what? Carpe? Munchkin dies to Carpe's own Molly. Something happens there. And RB just trying to create chaos, but he's good for 2 kills. Tries to get a third, eventually gets shut down.
I can't believe that Molly. I almost missed it. Because we didn't hear any gunshots for a second.
30 seconds left.
And
it's also just not something you'd expect.
Yeah, I'm not looking for it, you know? Carpe, the only one left over here. I would not be surprised if we see a timeout after that. That is wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, I mean, the Nightfall was used, so you didn't have audio. You were also very weak as well, right, because of that decay.
10 seconds left.
So curious to see if maybe there was just some mishap amidst that chaos. But either way, it's going to be another round for DRX.
Well, you know, I'll be frank, it's a bit of a humiliating loss here. You know, T1, who looked so very coordinated, has really choked in that round. I mean, the synergy and the communication just clearly not there. And unsurprisingly, T1 calls for that timeout.
Yes, not surprising at all for sure. Just going for the count on the flash. The flash was so good as well. They get the call that Carpe's trying to run away. Buzz cleans up that kill. DRX trying to regain that momentum, trying to hype themselves up, get their heads back in the game, force a timeout from T1. And I gotta wonder, I mean, T1, is there a question to be had here about just going for it, right? Just going for a rush, utilize the double duelist, you know, send one to go out further, and then dash from the other side. Don't try to go for these pinches. I mean, DRX is clearly reading that you like to go for these two-pronged attacks.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We had a very strong T1, but DRX has now clearly made the adjustments.
Yes.
And it's essential that you have the randomization of plays. You have, you know, rounds that are explosive and fast-paced, and then you have rounds that you can play very slow and go for picks. And it just seems like lately DRX has been able to shut down every movement here from T1. And then T1 is fumbling to even get onto site.
Yeah, and this is kind of the weak side of a double duelist composition on any map, quite frankly. I mean, you know, you do have a couple less options. There's still some crafty ways to utilize it, but at the end of the day, you do need to have an explosive entry. You got to win that aim duel, because in terms of utility, you really just have that breach, right? Just a couple smokes from Brimstone. Oh, and now look at the adjustment from DRX. Now they know that it's potentially a one-sided attack, especially on this eco. And look at all this utility just to buy time. Buzz says, all right, I'll let the jet pass, see if anyone else walks into my trap, and he's good for 2 kills.
And I just don't know if T1's going to get any headway over here. The spike is now stuck over here on site. T1 outgunned. Unable to get much done for now. They're going to wrap all the way around and under.
Well, just, I mean, T1, you could try to go for these ult orbs for Zeta. That looks to be the plan here.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best you can ask for, right?
Yeah, I would go all the way to Dish as well. Just get 1 point close, or maybe even go all the way to Hall, complete that Rolling Thunder. I mean, I assume at the end of the day, you do want to die at the end of this round, since you have not planted the spike, so maybe after just picking up this one, they'll try to go for these duels, but either way, hey, I mean, take what you can get, right? Rolling Thunder coming online is huge here for T1. Gives them one extra opportunity, especially when no ults online on the side of DRX.
Munchkin looking for any kind of kill he can find.
Yeah, he's just been, but DRX, they're just not peeking out at all. Just no vision. I mean, at this point, I almost think DRX, you can just kind of...
Oh, and that's a win with style. 9-11 now. T1, they did get those orbs. They need to create an opportunity. They're going to have better guns for sure this time around.
All right, Rolling Thunder and Orbital Strike.
Yeah. Do you need to use both or just one here?
Well, I mean, if
Again,
you're
it's
T1,
either-
I think you use whatever and everything just to secure the round,
Sure,
right?
sure. Well, it's either going to be overtime or they win. You know, how do you string it together? Is this about getting to 12 or is it about getting to 13? Or maybe like you were saying, William, it's just about one step at a time, trying to do whatever it takes to just get a little bit closer.
I mean, I do think there's value in trying to rush this forward, but let's hold that thought. Talk about that during the downtime in between the rounds. Yeah, Rolling Thunder comes out just to clear tower. Oh, Munchkin was hiding for so long. Now he might be able to find a timing on the pinch over on B main.
RB finds Carpe.
How is RB still alive? He's just weaving in and out.
Oh, it's starting to become a bit of a trade-off here. This spike's not planted just yet. Everything's smoked out.
Yeah, now T1 Zeta does get into safety on default plant. And meanwhile, oh, he's actually still just entering the duels. Munchkin gets picked off.
It's Mako versus Zeta. Mako with 32 HP. He has a minute left to plant.
Yeah, I mean, Zeta, he just doesn't want to get caught
Oh,
unaware.
oh, he saw his pants. He saw his legs, he moved by. That's one way to describe it. That's my play-by-play for this. He gets the plant.
Okay, and Mako just tries to bet on the 50-50 that maybe Zeta will also rotate. It's not going to happen. Zeta, now he's the one who has to pick and choose. He's going to get into tower where he can have a better angle to hold. There is a chance that Zeta even comes down the rope. Now Mako, now the onus is on him. He has to pick the 50-50s. Not quite sure. He does have the molly. Sound heard. Oh, Mako, he does have no idea, but he's left.
He's
Zeta,
left.
yeah, Zeta says, where have you gone?
Oh,
the
molly comes around. He gets him. It's 10-11. That was an insane exchange.
Oh my gosh.
Starting to defuse and then going all the way off.
Oh man, an intense 1v1. You could tell both players were so concerned about the potential repositioning mind games coming out from either side, and Zeta stays calm. Knows that he has the health advantage.
Right there.
Operator in hand for Buzz. All right, so the idea, Killjoy setup, just watching one side here on B.
Yep, we've got a 4-stack in the north here on Fracture.
Okay, so Buzz gonna just watch main, and then Turret's gonna watch arcade. The thing is if T1 just powers through this Killjoy utility, Buzz is stuck. There is no exit for him, but he does get one kill. Okay, now he has an exit out into main if he needs.
All right, he's over here with the shorty. Oh, and he whips the first shot.
Oh no, he needs to hide. Is there backup? He's trying to get whatever kills he can.
Oh my God, he's still,
he gets another. He's gonna reload the shorty.
He's somehow alive, still in here. He's just in the middle of all this. That's gonna be the 12th win for DRX. I don't know how Buzz is still in the game. That was insane.
Okay, what? I
cannot believe what I just saw there.
There is no explanation for this. Because here's what, I mean, Buzz just does everything correctly. While he gets blinded, he lowers his barrel of his gun to hide. Meanwhile, T1 is so concerned about him, so backup arrives from DRX. They save him. He gets another kill with the operator, and then he says, well, backup's here, so I can reload shorty. Wow. Buzz playing under pressure, and this is something that people wanted to see him improve on the international stage. And he says, I am here to try to get to the grand finals.
Carpe kills RB off.
Well, that was a twist of exchanges there. RB going a bit too far.
This round is ending so quickly. Mako able to find Ban, but he's at 2 HP. This spike is going to be planted, and Buzz is so far away. Okay.
Well, all that hype about Buzz's super play has now ended.
Yeah. We could barely summarize the previous round before this one's almost over.
Yeah, what happened there initially on Dish, right? RB just kind of gets a little too far forward, doesn't realize that he's passed someone. And we can take this downtime, because I was wondering, because we constantly saw one of the members over by the DRX VIP section, looks like somebody's mother. Hopefully we'll catch her on camera again, but that appears to be Mako's mother, so
yes.
Here to cheer on her son. I mean, you know, I would be curious to know if she really knows just how much praise he's getting across the world, right? I mean, surely you know how much praise he's getting on the Korean side, but I mean, this guy is hailed as, you know, one of, if not the best controller by a lot of people globally. And she's here just to try to see him get to the grand finals.
We have only two possibilities right now. Either this is going to be 13-11, And DRX wins on this map, tying it up 1-1 in our best of 5, or we go to overtime. I'm kind of okay with either one, but a little bit more okay with overtime right now with these two teams.
Yeah? Oh, well, we got a
Timeout.
timeout.
No, that was the third possibility I wasn't ready for.
Now, curious to me that DRX has used this timeout. Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess they realized that maybe I think Termi realized that maybe DRX kind of overheated there in that last round. Just calls for it just to calm them down. I mean, sometimes, you know, you can imagine, well, why would you use it when you're the one trying to go for, you know, the win? But it's also like, well, maybe you just want to plant a little more doubt into T1, right? Make them rethink what they might have gone for here to bring it to overtime. Curious to see. Termi has often been praised in the past for what his timeout to round win conversion has been. However, these last couple weeks here in VCT Pacific, the statistics haven't been that great for DRX.
You can see Saya there with that desktopper he has. He has his whole, everything is elevated on the desk.
I love it.
It looks like he's driving a Harley.
It does look like that, yeah. We just got to get him some shades, a little bandana.
Right,
He's ready to go. Okay, DRX wants the call here. All right, no operator, all rifles, lockdown and orbital strike ready. And they empty the site again. Rolling Thunder is available for T1 now. Okay, T1 says, I don't care if you've emptied the site or not, we're just gonna play it safe.
All right, they do zone out Buzz over here. And this is gonna be up to the retake here for DRX. DRX is gonna be wrapping around. All right, Munchkin sees there's gonna be a push here from the south.
Yeah, so T1, now they gotta push into defender spawn if they want. Ban just trying to draw out attention from Sewers, but he gets taken out a little too early. The plant still hasn't happened yet, by the way, because of all these ultimates.
Stacks finds another. It's just Seda left over. And that's gonna be it. We're tied up 1-1. DRX defeats T1 13-11.